What's going on, Jerome's? So, an exciting thing about the Vikings this offseason is the Vikings were dedicated to having the meats in both trenches, but I don't know, the run defense hasn't been there. Pass rush has been. But the Vikings offensive line, where on paper, the first team O-line was supposed to be JEROME, Donovan Jackson, the veteran Ryan Kelly, Will Fries, and Brian, the real deal O'Neill, but they have not played one single snap together in a game. Right, JEROME missed the first 2 games, recovering from his ACL, MCL. Donovan Jackson underwent surgery on his wrist, going to miss probably the next game. Hopefully, he'll be back for the Eagles game. Ryan Kelly. I know about Ryan Kelly, man. So he suffered his 2nd concussion in 3 weeks, 5th documented concussion, probably has more undocumented concussions, and at a certain point, like maybe should consider retirement. Yeah. Will Fries, wish we could tire Will Fries too. No, just kidding. $88 million man settling in. Hopefully we'll be good to go. As well as Brian O'Neill. Got rolled up with the MCL, basically where on the field goal where the Steelers illegally contacted DePaulo, him in the head and neck, shoved him into Brian O'Neill's leg. It was just bad business all the way around, right? And the offensive line issues, they've been in flux. At a certain point, it shouldn't be an excuse. And what really pissed me off is that, think about the first Rams game last year where the Rams had this ragtag offensive line and completely stonewalled the Vikings pass rush. I think the Vikings had 3 pressures, 0 sacks. Yeah. And then you look at the stupid Packers and the Cowboys where both teams had a multitude of injuries along their offensive lines, and basically both passer rushes were inert. It's got to be something going on there. Yeah, but the Vikings offensive line being in flux, it's been bad for McCarthy. It's been bad for Carson Wentz as well. Both of them, they've combined for pressure on 52.7% of their dropbacks, which is not good, as well as 18 combined sacks, 9 for 9, as well as 9 for Carson Wentz. Got sacked 6 times against the Steelers. Technically, it should be 7, but yeah, it's all right. And the offensive line stats via PFF through 4 weeks. Derisaw's easing back in, as well as Donovan Jackson's fighting the good fight as well. Ryan Kelly's been solid, but availability has been spotty through the first stanza of the season. Brian O'Neill has been his normal Brian O'Neill things. Will Fries has been easing in as well. And the backups, when they've been asked to play Justin School, issue. Both starting at left tackle the first 2 games, as well as filling in for O'Neill the bulk of the Steelers game. And also, it's affecting the rest of the offense. I know that a lot of people are complaining about TJ Hockenson, myself as well, as a TJ Hockenson fantasy guy. But upon rewatch, especially that Steelers game, like Hockenson went from a major part of the passing game to having to essentially babysit Justin School on that right side against TJ Watt. Every single snap, essentially, Hockenson is chipping TJ Watt to give Justin School a little bit of help, right? So I think that certainly curtailed him the first 2 games as well as the bulk of game 4. I mean, game 3, when Derissaw and O'Neill were both there, that's when Hockenson had his 5-catch, 49 yards and a touchdown game on 6 targets, right? Brandel has been a very valuable backup. I'm glad the Vikings did not get rid of him because depth is very important. And I know people piss and moan about Quakesy. This is what happens when you have bad draps. There's not a team in this league that would be able to weather the storm of all these injuries, specifically to the offensive line, right? And a couple teams obviously have injuries, and yes, every single team has to deal with injuries, but this is freaking Armageddon. Well, I'm sorry that we're not prepared for Armageddon. I don't want to close my eyes. Yeah. And Huber and Rouse, got some garbage time reps against the Bengals as well. And I don't know, like, at a certain point, like we complained about the Packers and the Cowboys, like, is it coaching, right? We have this next man up mentality about everything, but Chris Cooper, he's been here since Kevin O'Connell's started here in 2022. The offensive line has never truly solidified, and yes, on paper, on purpose, the Vikings have a ton of talent along the offensive line, but at a certain point, is it coaching? Where we lack this plug-and-play depth, next-man-up ability. And I honestly think that if the Vikings have a poor showing against the Browns, the Vikings can make a change at offensive line coach. Because remember, Keith Carter is the assistant O-line coach, and you do not bring in a man with 10-plus years of offensive line coaching experience in the National Football League to be an assistant. Like, you bring someone rising on up to be the assistant, but This is a contingency plan. I firmly believe. So I think that Chris Cooper might be the fall guy in this spot where, yes, there's been a ton of injuries, but just the lack of quick cohesion, the lack of coaching up depth, it's just been an issue for going on 4 years now. And also, hey, things will get better because we got Myles Garrett and the Browns on Sunday. So we'll see what happens. But not all hope is not all lost, because Donovan Jackson slated to return Week 7 against Philly off of his wrist surgery. And it's a spot where he probably, if it was late in the season, playoffs, he could have played through it. But the Vikings were saving him from himself, get it fixed up so you don't have to worry about it. So Jackson returns. Darrisaw's working back into form. Ryan Kelly should consider retirement, but he will have 3 full weeks. Cleveland week, bye week, and then Philly week to get right. He's probably going to miss the Cleveland game. Michael Jerkins can fill in fine, and he could be back for Week 7 for Philly. Brian O'Neill, we're still waiting on the MRI, but from the sounds of things, it's an MCL, and it could be a spot where it's a mild MCL sprain. So having the week off, Cleveland bye week, and then could be ready for Philly. Or potentially Chargers on a short week, the Lions, who knows? So, but you're probably not losing Brian O'Neill to injured reserve in all likelihood. But again, we'll see what it says about the MRI. And so there is an outside chance that this could finally be together after the bye for the Eagles. Yeah, you got to get ready for it. Yes, it's going to be at home, but it's almost an unfair sight picture of this team without this offensive line together. And it's just been a cavalcade of errors and miscues and injuries and bad timing. But Darrisaw, Jackson, Kelly, Fries, O'Neill together could make things a lot easier. I think the run game would be sufficient. I think that protection on whoever's going to be the quarterback, hopefully J.J. McCarthy, is going to be fine. And then we finally get a true picture of what this team is going to be. Because as of right now, this is not it. This is not it at all. And the Vikings, if they're able to get their first-team offensive line together for that gauntlet of Philly, Chargers, Lions, well, not the Ravens, Bears, Packers, Seahawks, Commies, apparently Dallas too. I mean, there's no easy outs the rest of the way, and that's okay. You want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And having these jabronis together be a big reason why. But your thoughts are thoughts of Vikings O-line so far. Let us know. Comment section. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skol, production value.